Hello and welcome back to the Trainerize YouTube channel. In this video, the Revive Stronger fitness YouTuber and podcast host Steve Hall is going to be joining us. We're going to learn exactly how you can use YouTube and content creation to help your personal training business. You have been prolific on YouTube. I went back into your history, and this isn't something you just started doing recently. You've been doing this for over 8 years, posting videos. So could you tell me a bit about what made you want to start that strategy? Did it just happen because you were kind of documenting and then it evolved?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know what drew me to want to do something on YouTube. I think it was initially I was on this bodybuilding forum, and maybe there was other individuals on there doing these kind of day in the life vlog videos and putting up posing and documenting their progress essentially. And then I think I came across some other people who were in the kind of fitness space, and I just decided I'm going to do it. I don't think at the start it came from any sort of business strategy or anything like that. It was just a case of, this looks fun, I'm going to see what I can do. And I started to get drawn to doing more kind of educational posts and talking about kind of maybe the science or how to lift more effectively, more than just the lifestyle stuff. That never really drew my attention. So yeah, initially it just came from oh, this looks like an interesting platform, let's kind of try it out. I mean, initially YouTube wasn't friendly to me. As you probably know, every social media platform has their kind of trolls and the people who can be negative. And I certainly had a number of those when I started, because it is hard, especially when you're kind of new and you haven't got a big physique and you're trying to share things. People are like, who's this person? Let's just shoot them down. So I'm glad that I consisted through that and persisted too. And what helped me, and I think it might help other people looking in and being worried about that, is you have your cheerleaders. There's people who follow you and they will build you up, and they kind of make it better in a sense, and you can focus less on those people that honestly don't really matter. So yeah, initially just started from a kind of I don't know.
Yeah, I find with YouTube, a lot of the people in the space actually did start that way, just with experimentation, just kind of doing something and then making a little bit of progress and being oh, I'll try something else. I personally also do YouTube, outside of my Trainerize job, but I know just from doing that little experimentation, how much it can snowball, and you can find clients. It's a great sales funnel. Opportunities arise from YouTube all the time. So can you talk a little bit about your ROI from kind of being on that platform and starting to put these videos out, in terms of clients or whatever else has come from it?
For sure. So I think my first client that I ever had, as an online coach, came through YouTube. It's just someone who used to follow some of those videos. And I think I always say this to kind of, not that I'm a business coach or mentor or anything, but sometimes I get coaches asking me kind of for ideas, and they're worried about their small following. And I'm like, you only need kind of one person, and they look to you as someone that, I don't know, is a few stages ahead of them, who they trust, they respect. They're like, oh, you seem like someone I could build rapport with. And I say this about personal training, there's still personal elements to it. It's not just I don't know, you're not just using a robot to tell you what to do. You are the coach there to try and help this person. So putting myself out there like that and sharing that, it's they have similar struggles, but maybe I've kind of already found out how to get past it, and they're like, oh, they've done that, so I'm going to get in contact with them. So certainly my first clients came through YouTube, for sure. And then as we've developed our YouTube channel, we've started obviously going down the podcast route, and that's heavily what the YouTube channel is now. We kind of put 2 podcasts out there every single week, and the kind of just being able to align yourself with an expert, you kind of get that. I can't think of what the term is for it, but if you are talking to someone and you can hold a conversation with an expert in the field who researches these things, and you can ask good questions and have a back and forth, you clearly know your stuff as well. And so you kind of get a bit of kind of a benefit, because of you get that kind of almost establish yourself as a bit of an expert by talking with them. So that certainly helped bring clients in. And within our kind of application form, we have where did you hear about us? And it's funny, you already mentioned Instagram. We basically get a split of almost 50-50 between YouTube and Instagram. And people really love watching the podcast over on YouTube as well, because, well, one, it comes out there first before over on all the platforms. But I think secondly, people like seeing the kind of the rapport between the two people. And I think there's something special about that as well. So that's definitely helped. And then I think we've probably been able to build, we've ran a few seminars, and that's been with people that we've interviewed on the podcast. So I think by doing the podcast, interviewing them over on YouTube, it's opened up doors to be able to kind of invite people to the UK and present on a topic. And that's only like they have so many pros outside of like that single event. We don't maybe make a load of money from a seminar, but you reach a load of new people, and it's good exposure, and obviously you build rapport with, again, people within the field, which is really, really beneficial as well.
Totally. I feel like one of the benefits of like video as a platform or as a, marketing channel is that when you're building rapport, like you said, and having those early conversations with people to build trust, it's like a video allows you to do that from one to many. So like you can have that initial conversation and build trust by putting out one video, and let's say like 500 people see it. If they then reach out to you and be like, hey, I'm interested, it's like they've already had one conversation with you, but then the people who are interested, you can kind of build on and start to have that back and forth one-on-one, but you've kind of pre-qualified as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly that. I know a lot of the people I end up having a consultation with before coming up on as a client, that I don't need to sell to them. If I need to sell, it feels unnatural and awkward. And thankfully I haven't had to do that in a long time, because they followed the channel for a certain amount of time. They're already bought in, and they're just like, this is just like a formality. I just want to make sure I'm being coached by you or whatever it is. And that's super beneficial, because I've had that as well, where especially as a coach, you are your own kind of service in a sense, like you are your own sales pitch. So people like to see that you also kind of practice what you preach as well, because it helps motivate them as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like warm leads. And whereas like I feel with other platforms like Instagram, you can have that initial touch point, but there's still like a relationship that needs to be built after people are coming to you. Like it's not an automatic, like I'm in for a lot of people. So yeah, it's definitely a cool way to do it. So if other coaches were thinking about starting a YouTube channel today, I know it's a very competitive space, but let's say some of these coaches, trainers, business owners are wanting to come in it at 0 subscribers today and start. What are some like words of advice you would have for them?
Cool. So I think they've already got a great advantage, because now you can have an iPhone that has a better camera than what was like cheaply available when I was first getting into it. I know I had these like block cameras that I was trying to use at the start, and that makes you don't have to invest in expensive equipment. I put it that way. The camera on an iPhone can like shoot great video, and you can do a lot through kind of the story if you're doing a vlog, or again, if you're trying to do interviews and do a podcast, you can do a lot through the guest and the good questions and doing your research. What I would say is, whichever route you decide to go down in terms of your content, make sure it's something you enjoy, because I know when I first started, I was trying to be different people. I'd look at, like I said, the Matt Ogus individual. I'd like try and copy him in a sense and try and be like him on camera, and you kind of put on a false persona. And again, people kind of buy into you as an individual, as a person. So just be yourself, whatever you're doing. I'd say be yourself. You don't need expensive equipment, and then set yourself like a realistic schedule. So you don't have to post every day. It could be once a week. It could be once every 2 weeks. Under promise and over deliver to yourself, hopefully. So yeah, don't set yourself a unrealistic estimation, like, oh, I'm going to post like every other day, and then like a week goes by and you haven't posted, and it's like next week you're going to post. Probably not. You need to kind of make it fit your kind of routine life, and if you enjoy it, if it's something you're comfortable with, and you're not trying to be anyone else, it should kind of come naturally to you. And I just talk about, I always think a great way of starting for people is like talking about their journey, kind of what are they doing, what are they eating, why are they doing that, because there's no pressure then to be like, you're not giving anyone advice necessarily, you're just talking through your experience. There's no kind of like burden of, oh, I need to reference this with a study or something. It's just a case of you're just talking through what you're doing and your experience. I think that's a great way to start. And then as you get more and more comfortable with the camera and comfortable with what you're doing, you can start getting into kind of the topics that you want to delve into and things that you enjoy, and you'll find what sticks with your audience, because you'll see which videos kind of come back and do well with you. But again, it's going to be hard from the get-go, and like you said, we're at 30,000 subscribers, which sounds great, but after 8 years, and we have like over 200 podcasts that have come out, so there's a lot that goes behind it. No one's like an overnight success, and the more you do it, the better you become. Like I said at the start as well, I was terrible on camera. I was terrible as a podcast host. Like, it's so cringy looking back at some of those, but it kind of shows a story, and you get better and better with practice. So that's something I recently found. We started vlogging recently. We weren't doing it, and we started doing those again. And at the start I was like, I used to do these, how did I used to do it? It's so like uncomfortable and awkward. But you start finding how you can just like, oh, I can just record here, set this angle, and you can find like a story somehow through various things. So yeah, it gets easier over time as well.
If you're new to training online, you can actually start your own 30-day trial of Trainerize for free by clicking on the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.